scene opens in a small place called Kappelt, near Berlin, in Germany, close to a decade before the outbreak of the Second World War. At about 4 o'clock, on the 14th of July, 1930, Rabindranath Tagore walked up a hilltop towards a brown wooden house with a red tiled roof, the home of Albert Einstein. Rabindranath Tagore wore a blue kaftan. As he walked up, he leaned a little forward. Einstein watched from his porch with a welcoming smile. They met and had tea on the balcony. The only barrier between them was the barrier of language. Einstein's mastery of English was not enough for comfortable conversation. Tagore did not know German, but the sympathy was palpable. It was interesting to see them together. Tagore, the poet with the head of a thinker, and Einstein, the thinker with the head of a poet. The poet was visibly absorbed in his own mystical universe. He spoke with a majestic tranquility, his slim fingers moving with his words, matching the gleam in his eyes. Einstein listened with studious attention before giving his own personal views. Neither insisted on his case, they merely exchanged ideas. Listen to the essence of the conversation they had on the nature of reality.
You have been busy hunting down with mathematics the ancient entities space and time, while I have been lecturing in this country on the eternal world of man, the world of reality.
Do you believe in the divine as isolated from the world?
Not isolated. The infinite personality of man comprehends the universe.
There are two different conceptions about the nature of the universe. The world as a unity dependent on humanity. Two, the world as a reality independent of the human factor.
When our universe is in harmony with man, the eternal, we realize it as truth. We feel it as beauty.
This is the purely human conception of the universe.
There can be no other conception. The world is a human world. The scientific view of it is also that of the scientific man. There is some standard of reason and enjoyment which gives it truth. The standard of the eternal man, whose experiences are through our experiences.
But this is the realization of the human entity.
Yes, one eternal entity. We have to realize it through our emotions and activities. Science is concerned with that which is not confined to individuals. It is the impersonal, human world of truth.
Truth, then, or beauty, is not independent of man.
No.
If there will be no human beings anymore, the Apollo of Belvedere will no longer be beautiful.
No.
I agree with regard to this conception of beauty, but not with regard to truth.
Why not? Truth is realized through man.
I cannot prove that my conception is right, but that is my religion. I cannot prove scientifically that truth must be conceived as a truth that is valid independent of humanity. But I believe it firmly. I believe, for instance, that the Pythagorean theorem in geometry states something that is approximately true, independent of the existence of man.
Truth, which is one with the universal being, must essentially be human. Otherwise, whatever we individuals realize as true cannot be called truth. At least the truth which is described as scientific and which can be reached only through a process of logic. In other words, by an organ of thoughts which is human. The nature of truth which we are discussing is an appearance. That is to say, what appears to be true to the human mind, and therefore is human, and may be called Maya or illusion.
So according to your conception, which may be the Indian conception, it is not the illusion of the individual, but of humanity as a whole. The problem begins whether truth is independent of our concept. Even in our everyday life, we feel compelled to ascribe a reality independent of man to the objects we use. We do this to connect the experience of our senses in a reasonable way. For instance, if nobody is in this house yet, the table remains what it is.
Yes, it remains outside the individual mind, but not the universal mind. The table, which I perceive, is perceptible by the same kind of consciousness which I have.
If nobody could be in the house, the table would exist all the same. But this is already illegitimate from your point of view, because you cannot explain what it means that the table is there, independent of us. Our natural point of view in regard to the existence of truths apart from humanity cannot be explained or proved, but is a belief which nobody can lack. No primitive beings, even, who attribute to truth a superhuman objectivity. It is indispensable for us, this reality which is independent of our existence and our experience and our mind, though we cannot say what it means.
Science has proved that the table as a solid object is an appearance. And therefore that which the human mind perceives as a table would not exist if the mind were not. At the same time, it must be admitted the fact that the ultimate physical reality is nothing but a multitude of revolving centers of electric force is also that of the scientific mind. In the apprehension of truth, there is an eternal conflict between the universal human mind and the same mind confined in the individual. The perpetual process of reconciliation is being carried out in our science, philosophy, in our ethics. In any case, if there be any truth absolutely unrelated to humanity, then for us it is absolutely non-existent. It is not difficult to imagine a mind to which sequence of things happens not in space, but only in time, like the sequence of notes in music. For such a mind, such conception of reality is akin to the musical reality in which Pythagorean theorem can have no meaning. There is the reality of paper, infinitely different from the reality of literature. For the kind of mind possessed by the moth, which eats that paper, literature is absolutely non-existent. Yet, for man's mind, literature has a greater value of truth than the paper itself. In a similar manner, if there be some truth which has no sensuous or rational relation to the human mind, it will ever remain as nothing so long as we remain human beings.
Then, I am more religious than you are.
They met again on the 19th of August, 1930, at the house of a common friend, Dr. Mendel. And they discussed the youth movement in Germany before Tagore approached the question of chance and necessity. Eventually, the conversation between Tagore and Einstein turned to music.
I was discussing with Dr. Mendel today the new mathematical discoveries which tell us that in the realm of infinitesimal atoms, chance has its way. The drama of existence is not absolutely predetermined in character.
The facts that make science tend towards this view do not say goodbye to causality.
Maybe not, but it appears that the idea of causality is not in the elements, but that some other force builds up with them an organized universe.
One tries to understand how the order is in the higher plane. The order is there where the big elements combine and guide existence. But in the minute elements, this order is not perceptible.
This duality is in the depths of existence. The contradictions of free impulse and the directive which works on them and evolves an orderly scheme of things.
Modern physics would not say they are contradictory. Clouds look as one from a distance, but if one sees them near, they show themselves as disorderly drops of water.
I find this analogy in human psychology. Our passions and desires are unruly, but our character subdues these elements into a harmonious whole. Isn't it analogous to this in the physical world? Are the elements rebellious, dynamic, and with individual impulse? And is there a principle in the physical world which dominates them and puts them into an orderly organization?
Even the elements are not without statistical order. Elements of radium will always maintain a specific order. Now, and ever onward, just as they have done all along. There is then a statistical order in the elements.
Otherwise, the drama of existence would be too desultory. It is this constant harmony of chance and determination which makes it eternally new and living.
I believe that whatever we do or live for however, that we cannot look through it.
There is in human affairs an element of elasticity, some freedom within a small range, which is for the expression of our personality. It is like the musical system in India, which is not rigidly fixed as in Western music. Our composers give a certain definite outline, a system of melody and rhythmic arrangement. And within a certain limit, the player can improvise upon it. We praise the composer for his genius in creating a foundation along with superstructure of melodies. But we expect from the player his own skill in the creation of variations of a melodic flourish and ornamentation.
Artistic tradition in music to guide the people's minds. In Europe, the music has come too far away from popular art and popular feeling and has become something like a secret art with conventions and traditions of its own.
So you have to be absolutely obedient to this very complicated music.
It requires a very high standard of art fully to realize the great idea in the original music, so that one can make variations upon it. In our country, the variations are often prescribed.
In our music, there is a duality of freedom and prescribed order.
Are the words also free? I mean to say, is the singer at liberty to add his own words in the melody which he is singing?
Yes, in Bengal we have a kind of song, kirtan we call it, which gives freedom to the singer to introduce parenthetical phrases as he sings the song. চরণ তলে
বাবা যাচ্ছিল দিনু চরণ তলে
গানের বোঝা বুঝলাম দিনু চরণ তলে
গানের বোঝা বুঝিলাম দিনু চরণ তলে
শুধু জীবন মন চরণে দিনু বুঝিয়া নাও সব আমি কি আর পাব ওহে জীবন বল্লভ ওহে সাধন দুর্লভ ওহে জীবন বল্লভ। This occasions great enthusiasm as the audience is constantly thrilled by some beautiful spontaneous sentiment freshly added to the song by the singer, phrases which had not been there in the original song.
Can the Indian music be sung without words? Can one understand a song without words?
Yes, we have songs with unmeaning words, sounds which just help to act as carriers of the notes.